It's always felt like the United States of America is special, like it's lucky as a nation and things just always work out for it. But what if I told you that this luck was actually a person, an alien from another world, whose ship crashed down the night the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence? Mayday, mayday! Every single light on Green's ship was going. He tried to fix his ship, but it was going down. There was no use. And worst of all, he knew how to fly the ship, but he could barely remember anything about his homeworld. He remembered something about the sun setting, the planet exploding, him flying away as fast as possible. He flew down towards a group of cobblestone streets, towards houses. They had shelter. Maybe they could crash. Everything was on fire. Green struggled out of the remains of his pod when, "Hoy! Who's there?" He was surrounded by men. Men holding a charred, burned document, pointing muskets straight at his face. Green said, speaking his language to them. They fired, but the bullet bounced off of his chest. "Hold on, Corporal," one of the men said, a young man wearing a white wig. They all looked to him like he was the leader. Later, Green would learn his name was Washington. "We have just signed this important document," Washington said. "Maybe he's sent from above. After all, bullets bounce off of his chest." "Don't be ridiculous," one of the Founding Fathers said, with his glasses and long hair. "He's obviously the devil. Only God can—" "I speak your language now," Green said, the sensors in his brain adapting to the new language. They all took a step back. "Who are you, devil? Are you from the heavens above, or—" "Hell," Benjamin Franklin said. "I'm from neither of those places. Please, He thought about his planet exploding, the sun setting. "I need a home." The Founding Fathers looked at him with skepticism. After all, tonight had already been the most momentous moment of their entire lives. They knew that they would have to fight a war to keep what they had just signed. "Well, bullets bounce off of your chest," Washington said. "What else can you do?" Quickly, they learned that Green was the most powerful thing that they had ever seen. Green was strong enough to lift a horse cart over his head without breaking a sweat. And, most impressively of all, Green could move through space in a second. It wasn't super speed exactly, more like teleportation, but anywhere Green saw, he could teleport. The Founding Fathers laughed in awe. "What else can this man do?" George Washington said, his eyes flickering with ambition. Green smiled. "I can do this." He pointed his hand to the building across the way, and the entire building exploded in green fire. The Founding Fathers went from laughs and cheers to horror. "Get water," they said, running, creating a bucket brigade. Inside, Green heard a little girl crying. "I told you it was a mistake," Franklin said. "I don't know whence you came, but you should go back to—" "Wait!" Washington put his hand on Green's chest. "There are innocent people in there. Please, save them." Green looked at the burning building. So difficult. Pieces of flesh moving around. Atoms. And yet, they wanted him to save them. So he would. Green teleported inside the building. "Monster! Monster!" a little girl said. He put his hand up. "Don't resist." The little girl tried to run away into the burning building, but Green grabbed her, kicking and screaming, and teleported out of it. "There are 2 more in there," Washington pointed, and Green teleported. Green felt something wrong flickering around him. He ignored it. He saved the 2 other people from the burning building and made it in front of Washington's face. "We have just signed a Declaration of Independence, declaring our sovereignty from a nation that would rule us all." Green remembered something. A nation ruled us all. Something unsettled him about that. "We desperately need help of someone with your talents," George Washington said. "What do you say? You want to help us out?" He put his hand out in a handshake, a newfangled gesture that the Founding Fathers were doing to signify brotherhood and trust. Green looked at him. "You don't care that I'm an alien?" Green said. "We're all aliens here. The only non-aliens are, well, dead," Washington said. The Founding Fathers chuckled. He shook George Washington's hand. During the Revolutionary War, there were many times when the Founding Fathers were about to be killed. Assassins coming for them in the middle of the night. Key choke points in battle. A ship going over freezing cold waters. But Green was there every single time. Washington was his master. Washington had given him his new home. "I need you to kill this man for me, Green," Washington said. and Greene obeyed without any question. And yet the most surprising thing of all was when George Washington abdicated his throne. "The most important thing about a presidency, Greene," George Washington said, "is that you let it go. That's what stops you from being a king, or whatever it is that ruled your planet many moons from here." Washington might be the strangest person Greene had ever met in the entire galaxy, but he looked at Greene with pleading eyes. "We never could have made it this far without your help, and I'm not president anymore. I didn't want John Adams to win, but, well, here we are. Help him, please. Help keep my country safe." John Adams was not the same man that George Washington was. He was boastful, laughing. He treated the people around him rudely, a brute. And yet Greene showed up to his door all the same. They all knew him, calling him Government Greene, not just Greene anymore. And when John Adams opened the door, he said, "You're going to do whatever I say, right?" Greene nodded. Over the years, Government Greene did the dirty work for every American president. He started to do things that he wasn't okay with. Kidnappings, killing children. But he remembered the oath that he swore to George Washington. He cried like a baby at George Washington's funeral. He would not let George Washington down. There were some presidents that Government Greene liked. Lincoln, one of them, actually tried to be his friend. "How long since you've slept?" Lincoln said. "I see that you don't sleep when the rest of us go to bed. Does your species not need sleep?" 15 presidents before him, and he was the only president that noticed that about Greene. "No, sir, I don't need to sleep," Government Greene said. "Well, I'm glad you're on our side," Lincoln said. "Do you want me to kill the General of the Confederacy?" Government Greene said. "No, that's all right," Lincoln said. "I have a feeling that it'll work out." So Greene helped, or didn't help, every American president through the worst parts of American history. Anytime someone needed to be assassinated or disappeared, or some dirty work that the president's agency couldn't do, Government Greene, America's most loyal soldier, was there. And yet, the more people he killed, the less connected he felt to the ideas George Washington was talking about when he brought him on. "I'm not a good person," Government Greene said to young John F. Kennedy, who had just won the election. "But I will do whatever it is you want me to do." John F. Kennedy looked at him dead in the eyes. "That's a good idea. There's a young lady that I'd really prefer if you disappear." "Women? Children?" Government Greene said. It wasn't even really a question anymore. He used to think about it, that he didn't want to kill women and children. But John F. Kennedy just nodded. "Do her in, see? I don't want her causing any problems." Over the years, Greene became increasingly apathetic. Nobody ever knew about him, even at the dawn of the superhero age, when a new world order led by the superhero team Golden Dawn against apocalyptic threats appeared. Back when every city had its superhero. Back when there were creatures way stronger than Government Greene, and yet Government Greene didn't feel like a superhero. His skin was green and yellow, and yet it should have been stained with blood. Stained so much with blood that he could never, ever, ever repair it. And yet, here Greene was, at the end of a long line of presidents, serving faithfully, until one president asked him something that made him refuse to fight forever. "There's a weapon. You see what I'm talking about?" the president said. He was a businessman. Greene hated businessmen. "It's out in the Middle East at this black site. I'll upload the coordinates to your cell phone." Greene hated the infernal cell phone that the president kept wanting him to use, but he couldn't talk back. It was part of the oath that he signed so long ago. "Teleport over there, get rid of the weapon, and come back to me, okay?" Greene teleported. The desert sands went, and he saw the black site in a rudimentary building. How so many people on Earth could live at such levels of luxury, and so many others lived in slum shacks similar to this, Greene never understood. But it was not his job to understand. He remembered the pain of him accidentally killing those people in front of George Washington so long ago. He didn't understand humanity. There was nothing he could do. He walked towards the small shack. Out of the rocks, men appeared with AK-47s and fired at him. Greene simply waved his hand and made them disappear in waves of green smoke. As he opened the door to the shack, Greene saw a tiny, rustic elevator. He pressed the button and rode down the elevator. He bore the shocks and the bombs with no issue until finally he went to the bottom of the elevator shack, opening the door. The weapon would be in here, Greene thought. He would destroy it, and maybe the president would leave him alone for a couple of months. maybe he opened the door. 6 newborn babies were sleeping in high-tech beds. One scientist, holding a high-tech weapon, was shaking, pointing it at him. "I won't let you take them," the scientist said, crying. "They're just babies." Green looked at the babies and saw that they were flickering with energy. Superpowered babies. But superheroes never got their powers so young. He looked at her, questioning. "It's a new form of humanity," the scientist said. "They weren't given their powers by accident. They're naturally super." She was crying, as if Green had already killed them. He listened to her intently. "They're the next step in human evolution. They didn't do anything wrong," she said. Green put his hand up to murder the babies. He thought about the oath that he swore to Washington so long ago. He thought about Washington crying out to him to save an innocent little girl's life. Maybe this whole do whatever the president says thing, maybe it had gone too far. "They didn't ask to be born," Green said. "What?" the scientist said. "The babies had no choice but to be super," Green said. "Yeah, of course," the scientist said. "And the president wants them dead." "Of course he wants them dead," the woman said. "Superpower beings already disrupt the world order. America's hanging at the top as is, and these poor innocent babies born in slums, there's no reason why they would ever fight for America," the lady said. Green looked at the babies sleeping fitfully. He thought about when the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. He thought about the oath that he swore to them. And he thought about what it really meant to take an innocent life before it had even seen a sunset and understood what it meant. Green put his hand down. He felt something. He didn't feel the way humans felt, but he felt something deep welling within his gut. He cried, tears down his face. He looked at the scientist. "I've made a horrible mistake." Green walked out into the desert and sat. The way the mountains surrounded the desert, it was beautiful. The wind rushed. He sat and sat and sat until finally the superheroes found him. "Hey, what gives, Big Green?" America Man said. America Man was another one of the government superheroes. Green hated him. "The Prezi gave you a job. I mean, you've gotta..." "I'm not doing it," Green said. "What are you talking about? I mean, you've been working for the president for hundreds of..." "I'm not doing it," Green said. He turned and looked at America Man in the eyes. "You're a little strong and fast. Why don't you kill them?" "Them?" America Man said, smiling. He cracked his knuckles. "I meant to kill you." He pulled out a blade of shimmering energy. "This here is made out of your spacecraft. I think it'll do wonders on your skin." Green sat there. He wouldn't fight back. His skin was unbreakable. Chuck! America Man stabbed him in the chest. It pierced his unbreakable skin with no difficulty. Green coughed yellow blood onto his chest. "Yeah, so if you don't go in there and kill those kids, you gotta..." Green choked America Man and threw him across the desert. He stood up, bleeding down onto the sand. He couldn't see straight. He was losing a lot of blood. America Man was bounding towards him, a giant grin on his face. "I'm gonna show you what being an American is really about." Green blasted towards him, but America Man jumped out of the way. Green looked at the sky and floated above, but America Man grabbed his leg and pulled him down onto the sand. "I don't really care if you execute the mission." His eyes were full of hate. "I want to be the president's #1. See?" He stabbed down at Green with all of his might. Green put his hand out to block it, but the blade went through his hand, spraying his face with yellow blood. He hadn't fought like this, ever. He never even knew that the government had a piece of his ship, that they could hurt him like this. How long had they been able to kill him and done nothing because he was doing whatever they said? "No more," Green said. He pushed with all of his might against America Man's arm, dislocating his shoulder. "Hey," America Man said, scrambling back. He tried to switch to his non-dominant hand, but Green stepped on his elbow. "I will not kill for the president anymore," Green said. He put his hand up, glowing with energy, right at America Man's face. "But I will kill for myself. Do you want me to kill you?" America Man swung at him with the sword of his ship, and Green blasted the piece of his ship, sending it skittering into the distance. Do not make me kill you, Green said. American Man panted and then put his hands to the ground, defeated. He's gonna come for you, you know. He's gonna come for you with everything Green knocked him out, letting him waste away in the desert. He looked at the tiny shack full of the superpower babies. He looked out at the desert, at the aloneness of the life he could feel, and he walked back towards the shack. He went down the elevator. He saw the scientists holding all 6 babies. She looked at him, terrified. Please don't kill them. They didn't do anything wrong. Green looked at the babies. He remembered the young George Washington's face. He remembered the old, current president's face. He sat on his knees in front of the scientist holding the babies, and he put his head down in shame. I've made a lot of mistakes, Green said, opening up. He looked at the scientist in her eyes. But I know one thing. Innocent lives must be protected. He put his hands out, palms up, like a knight waiting for a sword. I promise I will do everything I can to protect them. And he felt it then, deep inside, why he had really come to this planet. It wasn't to be government green and do whatever the president said. It was this: protect human life at all costs.